Hello and welcome. My name is Zaffar Iqbal, and you are watching the Mojo story. A shocking, undated video. You can see on your screen there is this man, Umarul Nabi. He is speaking to the camera. Is the self-shot video. He's a brainwashed suicide bomber. Uh, he is behind the Red Fort car blast that killed 14 people. In this clip, Umar speaks in a calm tone in fluent English, but what he's trying to do, he's trying to justify suicide bombing, and he calls it as a martyrdom operation. And then once he's speaking, he's trying to gather his thoughts. He cuts the video, but this is what actually goes on in the mind of a person who's about to commit the worst atrocity, to go about doing the bombing. This is perhaps a radicalization video, a video meant to propagate his point of view and to spread his thought. That's precisely the reason that this video is recorded, but it's a chilling video. The way this man is interpreting suicide bombing and terming it as martyrdom. We'll try and understand this, the concept of radicalization, what goes on in the mind of a suicide bomber. We're today joined by an eminent panel. Let's introduce our guests, Major General Dhruv Katoch, Director, India Foundation, and Alan Rao, former DCP and lawyer at Delhi High Court. Welcome to Mojo Story, both our guests. General Dhruv Katoch, when I saw this video first, I was shocked the way that this man, in a calm tone, is explaining suicide bombing and saying that how this amounts to martyrdom. Look at this man. He's a doctor. He's sitting calmly and explaining and propagating his point of view in the most vicious manner. What do you have to say?
Thank you, Zafar. Zafar, when I saw that video, a few things actually struck out, not related to really what he was saying, but the quality of English which he was using. This is absolutely anglicized Oxford English. Now, that
Yeah,
doesn't really gel with the education which he's had. He's been brought up in a government school. That is where he learned his English. Then he
yeah.
went to a government medical college in Srinagar. Now, I don't know where he has picked up that anglicized form from, which gives me, which actually I'm doubting whether it is his English at all. That is one. Number two, simply from the psychological point of view, who was he trying to message? If the message was for the local public, then why speak in English, which very few people understand? And if it was for a foreign audience, then I think it could have been done in a better way. The third point, this man, in my view, the operations which they were carrying out, or which they had planned to carry out, was supposed to have been executed in the month of December, and it would have continued. That is, December was a very high-profile month. You see, the Babri structure was demolished. The 5th December, that is the date. President Putin is coming, and onwards it leads on to 26th January, which is always high. It's a time when all the cameras are trained on Delhi. So that was the time period when they would have done the bomb. So why take out a video now, which could have compromised him? So was the video taken out after they got caught? Even then, it really doesn't make sense, because his actions per se weren't of a person who was really going in for a suicide bombing. His actions were of a man who was trying to run. He was running. And once he found out that he had been trapped, especially after the Jammu and Kashmir police put out that message and says, you can run, but we are going to get you. And he ran the whole day. He ran. He had so many targets. He didn't do them. He took the safety and the shelter of the car parking of a mosque, of a masjid. So in that car parking, he was safe, and he stayed there because he knew nobody is going to come. And then when he runs, when he goes, he takes it in the hours of darkness when there is heavy traffic, so that his car won't be intercepted. You see, all that doesn't point to really a man who's going to do this. So I think we need to question, where has this video come from? Who has actually put it on in the social media? Where was it lying? Its authenticity, etc. But having said that, now let us assume. Firstly, I doubt the authenticity, but let us assume it is true. I think that is the essential point. The people who actually carry out these bombs, they are promised a heaven outside this earth. That the real life which is going to come later. And it's very easy to promise things, which you don't have to deliver. And I'm surprised that people actually fall for it when the only heaven which you have is actually where you're living right now. This is your heaven. You can make it whatever you wish to. So you promise them the moon, you promise them everything after you die, and then you motivate this person to kill himself. And for an educated man to do that, I think it is a very sorry state of affairs. But he's not the first. Many educated people have embraced this path of killing themselves and others in the hope of getting a better life. And
Yeah.
I think a great deal of, in my opinion, within the community, within the Islamic community, in all the madrasas and all the mosques, I think what is being taught that needs to be monitored. That will be good for society and good for the community as well. Zafar.
General Katoch, when I saw this video, my sense was that he's trying to say something, he's trying to make a video statement, but he's not able to gather his thoughts in the end, so he cut it abruptly. Maybe this is not the final take that he's trying to make, it's just that one of the versions of what he's trying to say. It could be a video meant to send to others, to brainwash others as he himself is brainwashed. That was the sense that I get, that he ends it abruptly, but he's not able to gather his thoughts in the end. He just makes that it's an incomplete sentence and he cuts this. Right. He is wearing a mic, properly doing this video, but in the end, he fails to gather his thoughts and he's a bit frustrated and he cuts that. And he might have recorded it again. This is one of the versions. We don't know what was going on in his mind. When did he record it? How did it come about? Rao Saab, what is the sense that you get? This is an educated man. He has qualified all his tests. He has qualified all his tests, high profile tests, not many could qualify them. Even going to medical college in the first place is a big deal. Then he has qualified all the tests. And look at this man, he's so radicalized.
Yes, Zaffar, good evening to you and Katoch, Mr. Katoch also, General Katoch Sahab, and to all your viewers. On visual of this video, it seems that no doubt he is an educated person and everything, but I don't think time has been mentioned in that video. Do you know the time? What is the time? Date and time?
No,
No.
it's an undated video. No, it's an
Undated
undated.
video, and maybe what may be the purpose of making this video and then making it on putting it on social media. That is a very strange question. What is the purpose of this, motive of this video? I fail to understand. But on the face of it, on the facial expressions of this doctor, seems that he's very much radicalized and he's talking about the death and the suicidal bombing, etc., etc. So I think first of all we must verify whether this video uh, is not AI generated, because there are so many videos are being circulated on social media with the AI generated, and how this is after his death, how it has been revealed in social media, and who has put this, and all these questions are to be answered before we go into the detail of what he is saying. But one thing is very much sure that if this video is correct, then he is very much radicalized, and his thoughts are something not normal, abnormal thoughts are being displayed by him. So, first of all, the authenticity of this video is to be ascertained before we can send some of our remarks in this effort.
Right. That's very important, the authenticity of the video. But clearly, here is a man, he's sitting calmly and he's talking. What happens after that? We know for a fact that he was running around in a car trying to run away. And then that explosion happened, that blast happened just outside the metro station near Red Fort. Those are facts that cannot be denied. And he was the main person in this module. That's also a fact that cannot be denied. There are other doctors also. So this is a web, this is a network, and he's supposed to be spearheading that network. The amount of destruction that's caused by this module, even before they were about to execute their plan, is humongous. General Katoch.
When I've been trying to analyze this person's movement and all that,
Yeah.
it didn't appear to me that he was actually on a suicide spree. When he find when his, regardless of what people say, in my view, it is an accidental blast. The explosive went off the same way it went off in Nogam. You see, it's a very unstable compound. And unless you have a stable sort of an explosive which you detonate at your convenience, we really don't know. If this man was really, and if he had really understood explosives and he wanted to detonate it, he would have been in possession of a detonator and the entire kit. That means the power to detonate would have been in his hand at any point of time of his choosing. I don't think he had that. And if he didn't have that, then how did he cause the detonation? So the question of he may have attempted, I mean, let us say that he knew that he's going to get caught. He knew that his days are numbered.
Yeah.
So to that extent, there was absolutely no doubt because the message had been passed to him, and all his colleagues had been arrested. Their plot had been thrown out. So what he was the ringleader of, all that has gone waste now, and he knows that his entire life, because this particular action, everything has gone waste. His life has got no meaning anymore. That I think that would have been very, very clear to him that I am caught, my colleagues are caught, and we have not been able to carry out any destruction. That would have been the state of his mental tension on the day in which he actually killed, in which he died. But prior to that, I think when if you go back a few days, as to even let us say he made the video and it is his video, it doesn't appear logical to me because all that is the time when they were planning. They were planning to execute something really big, really powerful, and then, in his view, his name would have been etched in golden letters somewhere. You see, amongst the annals or whatever it is. Now, all that hasn't happened. He is ultimately he's dead and he's a failure, and that I think is going to that was affecting him at that point of time. So that's this entire. There is something wrong in this video. I really can't pinpoint it. And as my colleague has so rightly put it down, it requires detailed authenticity, especially if we can find out which day was it done and where. If it was done recently, I don't know. He's not putting on anything much. You see, he's putting on a summer dress, and we are in winters now. So has he done this at this point of time? Is the room warm? Do you still put on the jersey? There are myriad questions, the answers to which we don't know. But I think if you carry out a forensic examination of this particular video or the original of his source, it can be traced back. And then the real truth will come out as to what actually happened. Zaffar.
Right, but the intentions are very clear. They were planning. There's no doubt about it. They were trying to procure explosives. They had stored explosives. They had taken those rooms where huge quantities of explosives were stored. The intentions were very clear to cause destruction, to do some sort of a suicide bombing, maybe multiple suicide bombings in different cities. Nobody knows what was their plan. When did they want to execute it? Some say around the demolition in December. That was one of the plans they had, but they were also, it was a net, it was a web that was spreading. More and more educated youth were getting involved in all of this. This is clearly a shift, General Rao Saab. We've seen in the past that there are educated people who have joined militancy and terrorism, but this is particularly a module of doctors, and those are doctors who have who have done their medicine degree from government medical college. They've gone to big universities, they're teachers, they're studying, and this is a network that was spread across multiple states. Now this gives Pakistan a cover, that they say that these are people who are in India, who are doing all of this. They're procuring the ammunition from there only. This is, Pakistan is sort of saving itself, but these people are getting radicalized, and their network was only growing by the day.
Yes, therefore, this is much more worrying situation when these well-educated person, particularly the doctor who is considered to be in the noble profession of saving lives of the people, and they are entering into such type of destructive activities like terrorism, that you can say the white collar terrorism. They name it. We name it. All media is naming that there is a white collar and a well-educated person. Not only the doctors. In the past also, we have come to know that some engineers and computer engineers and well-educated persons who are done business management also, they have also been caught in some terrorist activities. I must remind you, in 2008, when there was a series of blasts in Delhi, about 5 blasts were committed by the persons who were well-educated and computer experts. And their hobby was that whenever they do some blast, they used to store picture in their laptop, and then they used to send these pictures to their akas, to their handlers in Pakistan, just to confirm that yes, we have done it, done this thing. So this is a very peculiar situation where these educated people are being radicalized in these terrorist modules, and more particularly about this person who is being seen in this video. Definitely, this is the fact that he was one of the group of that doctors who were studying who were working in Al Falah University, and at their instances, so much huge this chemical material was recovered at the instance of information given by Jammu and Kashmir police to Faridabad police, and this is also a factor that he was also one of them, and then he was on the run. I think that with the vehicle and having this bomb inside that car, I-20 car, and then he was. All these facts are true, and that situation. I think, in my considered opinion, they were planning to blast this car bomb somewhere in Delhi itself, because they wanted to have a publicity, great publicity. If you do something out of capital of India, then it doesn't carry any so much value in media or international media, country media. But if you do something in Delhi, that becomes a big news for them, and they wanted it to prove that they can come to the Red Fort also for doing all these things. Otherwise, there was no idea or there was no purpose of his coming to Red Fort. And Red Fort is considered to be the most important historical monument, and where our Prime Minister flies our flag on every Independence Day. It's a very big national festival is there at that time. I think they wanted to prove that what we want to do and what they can do, whatever they. But now there is a challenge to the security forces and security agencies, intelligence agencies, that such things should not happen, and these preventive measures should be taken not only by the police and security agencies, but also the public participation is also very much required, because these people are among us only, and we the people, we must find out who are the suspected person, what is their activities going on, and if somebody is found suspected doing all these things, that person should be brought to the knowledge and information given to the police or concerned police station or concerned authorities dealing with the terrorist activities in a particular state and particular police station.
Right.
Yep.
General Katoch, we come to the heart of the problem of radicalization. This radicalization cuts across classes, as is evident. This is an educated man, so are others who have been caught now. It is no longer limited to just a section of people who are disgruntled, who are frustrated, who don't see a future ahead of them. But these are people who have a bright future ahead of them. Apparently, they seem to have done well in life. How big is this challenge of radicalization, which cuts across all classes? How to deal with it? How to counter it?
No, I think this is the problem which requires a great deal of effort to resolve. And once we start the process, we are looking at 15 to 20 years. You see, it is not something which can be, which you can implement and say, okay, within 6 months or 1 year, we will do it. Because the point is that this radicalization process, the seeds have been placed in the child's mind when he's growing up from the school books which they read. And I just want to give you an example of Pakistan. The way their school books have been put, and the idea has been placed that you are the best people on the earth and you have the right to kill anybody else. Now, if you start teaching a child that, it'll take you need a generation to get people rid of that thought. You see, so a new generation has to come where they are taught something totally different, and then when they become adults, they don't have this radicalization germ in them. So the seed has been implanted in these people, not today or something when he's become a doctor. The seed was there in them when they were children, and they have grown up with that. And now that he's in a position that he's actually passed an exam, he's become a medical doctor, he says, okay, I can do something about it. Osama bin Laden was a top class engineer and he was very, very rich. The bombers in Bangladesh, the bakery bombings took place, they were not only rich people, they were very influential people, the bombers, and they had links to the highest families of Bangladesh. That means they were not wanting in anything, and yet they did it. So when we are looking at these things, I think it's a very, very complicated issue. It's going to be, as far as India is concerned, is going to be a long haul. And I think everybody, as Mr. Rao has very correctly put it is not simply a government effort any longer. I think if he is going to say Sarkar kya karegi ya Modi kya karega, we are being foolish. It is the public of India, the people of India now, 1.5 billion of us, we have to do it. And putting the onus on the government or on any a particular body of people, it's not going to work. I think all of us are responsible, and we have to take the challenge up ourselves. That if we see any activity of this nature, I think it is incumbent upon us to report it and to have corrective measures taken, especially amongst the school children. I have seen myself sometimes. I won't like to talk about those issues here, but a kid of 8 to 9 years, when I heard that person's conversation, and this was in Delhi, I was amazed. And I thought to myself, we need to do something. Otherwise, these are the children who belong to very good families, very, the upper class, rich, urban. And if they are expressing such thoughts, there is a danger. So it is there in our society. I think the most important thing is we have recognized it. So the cancer is there. We know it is there. How to treat it? That I think is going to be the challenge over the coming decade. It is not. We are not talking about a few years. I will say 1 decade to 2 decades. We have to really be serious in tackling this problem, and then see that it is reduced to absolutely negligible amounts. Zaffar.
It will take a lot of time, but given the fact that these people were operating from a university outside of Jammu and Kashmir in Haryana, and their ideology seems to be not considering countries and regions. It seems to be a global ideology, sort of whatever they believe in that way. So the challenge is multifold. But also, if I may turn to investigations now, today there were ED raids at offices of Al Falah University in Delhi, in Faridabad. You can see on your screen that's the Al Falah University. How do you see the investigation going on here on? There was unfortunately a tragic incident in Kashmir where that explosives went off. 9 people were killed, more than 30 were injured. But generally, how do you see these investigations underway?
Jaffar, look, this case is being investigated right now by the national investigation agencies because the concern of other states are also found during the investigation. That's why initially the case was being investigated by special cell, but finally the Home Ministry thought it proper that it should be investigated by the NIA, because NIA is having a very vast power all over India. On special cell was having power in itself, Delhi itself, but because there were links found in some other states also, that's why this case is being investigated by the NIA. Now, this Delhi case, blast case, but that case of Faridabad recovery, as you rightly said, that the recovery of Faridabad, recovery of the explosive, which was recovered in the morning of 10th of November, that case and that stuff of that chemical material was not required to be taken to the Jammu and Kashmir, Nagaon, because no doubt the initial case was in Nagaon police station, but that case was having some trails in Faridabad, no doubt in that. But as per law, if I talk about the legal provisions, that where the recovery is made, that separate case is to be registered here also. In that case should have been Explosive Substance Act case should have been, I think, have been registered in Faridabad from where the stuff was recovered, and that evidence was for that purpose. And in case of Nagaon police, that they wanted to have some evidence about the recovery of Faridabad material, then that material could have been sent to the chemical lab in Faridabad case, and then report of that Faridabad case would have been annexed with the Nagaon police station. But unfortunately, this chemical amount, that chemical stuff was taken to Naugam, all the way from Faridabad to Naugam. I don't think that it was a proper way of doing the SOP that doesn't allow this the standard operating procedure handling with these type of chemicals. Does not allow to handle these type of chemicals without any experts' advice and without any proper due and care and caution. And that's why the taking sample after so many days. The recovery was made on 10th of November, and the recovery, this case was the blast case was after 3, 4, 5 days in Nogam, which took life of so many people, and there was loss damage to the property and the lives of people there in Nogam. So that could have been averted if this stuff was kept only in Faridabad, but that is unfortunate that investigation is also going on or how and why this was done in that case. But facts remain that definitely the explosion was there, loss of life was there, and the act of these terrorists, which were being planned by at the instance of JEM to commit several bomb blasts during the month of December and January, being the very national festival as Republic Day 2026 and 6th of December as the anniversary of Babri Masjid. These two occasions were very important for them to create havoc during this period, but God forbid that this recovery was made. And as General Katoch has rightly said, that we need a participation by the public and police cooperation to stop all these such type of incident in future.
Right, and look at the amount of recovery, about 3,000 kilos. General Katoch, I went to the house of the revenue officer, one of the persons who got killed, and his wife Kulsum was telling me that he was very scared to go. When he went there on the first night, he could sense that they were testing something. There were fumes coming out. He came back to his home. He said that it's very dangerous. The material that is at the police station is very dangerous, but it's his duty to go. So he went again the next night. But before going there, he told his brother and his wife that look at it, it's an extremely explosive material here. It's very dangerous. I don't want to go, but I have to go because this is my duty. He had told them that a day before they were just testing something and there were fumes coming out of it. Now, that one side, and on the other side the investigations going on the other side this radical, this Jesh module, this doctor's video coming out. Last word to you, how do you see all these developments? I think it's a turning point. It's a big challenge for Indian security agencies, what we're seeing over the last few days.
Firstly, I want to talk about the security agencies. I think they've done a marvelous job. Started from the Jammu and Kashmir police to the other police forces to the intelligence agencies, regardless of the fact that this Umar chap could blast his, that vehicle blasted in Delhi and cause casualties. But when I see the overall situation, I mean, imagine 3,000 kgs and 30 bombs spread over Delhi. It would have been absolute mayhem, and we'd have had the government falling over this. And we're not talking about a day or two. It could have carried on for a month, 2 months. When panic sets in, things go horribly wrong. So I think, to that extent, at least, the first response, in my view, has been good. Number two, getting these explosives to all the way to Nogam and then carrying out a test there, especially after that person is saying so. I'm still absolutely puzzled as to how they could keep such a vast quantum of explosives at one place and test it. This has to be segregated. There are very procedures. I've seen it in my entire military career. We don't handle explosives in this manner. There are very, very specific drills in handling explosives. And then once the actual test is being carried out, only one person or maximum two people are there. You don't have that because we know accidents can happen. And then you have to minimize those casualties. You place sandbags all around to prevent collateral damage. None of that was done. So I'm afraid somebody has slipped up very badly as far as the handling and the storage of this explosive was concerned and why it was moved. In your last show, I had very clearly stated, if this is required by law, then we need to change the law. And if, as a friend, a colleague has said, it is not part of the law, then I'm surprised as to why they actually took it there. The third thing is, I think all of us have, terrorism has come down a very great deal as far as India is concerned. There is a tremendous amount of certainty that we are in a much, much better environment today. But we still need to be careful. I think for the public and for the security agencies, that level of cooperation, that level of trust with each other, and be the first responders. If something goes wrong, give a phone call. We can, a damage may take place, but we can ensure that it is restricted to the barest minimum. I think that is what we should aim at. And lastly, regardless of the fact which you said in your opening statement that these people are homegrown, etc., which what Pakistan is claiming, the point is they belong to the Jaish-e-Mohammed. If they belong to the Jaish-e-Mohammed and they owed allegiance to the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the headquarters of the Jaish-e-Mohammed is in Pakistan. The headquarters of the Lashkar-e-Taiba is in Pakistan, or the Hizbul Mujahideen is in Pakistan. Under all circumstances, Pakistan is culpable and responsible for what has happened, and they will pay for it. Zaffar.
Right. Thanks so much, General Katoch, Rao Saab, for joining us today and for sharing your thoughts. And thanks to our viewers for tuning in and for watching the Mojo story. Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.